If dreams die, rely on yourself and no way. Believe.
Good morning. I'm wearing festive colors today because I can, and I'm trying to wake up, really wake up. I fell asleep so hard last night. I don't know what happened, and I don't know how it happened. I just know I felt it. And that was the first time in a long time, and it felt good. So I'm fairly refreshed this morning, which is a first in a long time since I've been working. So I'm hoping that's a corner turned, and I think it's because of the news I got about the no surgery. I seriously believe that my brain was probably um, stressed out about it without me really knowing, and that kind of took something off. So it's been helping. So I'm glad. I'm glad. So um, we got a couple of things to tackle today. Um, First and foremost, I received an email last night or this morning um, from a individual who had prior sent an email and completely went left on me and just insult after insult and curses after curses, not in terms of cursing language, but God's going to get you kind of thing. Um, and then I think that person, being a schizophrenic individual, writes another email after I told him to leave me alone, um, saying almost like it was a whole other person, like nothing had happened, and expected me to just be like, "Oh, cool." Um, in case people, I told him to make sure you lose my email. Do not contact me again. I do not need that type of energy anywhere near me. Um, if you have unsubscribed, stay unsubscribed. Um, if you really do believe that I'm cursed to hell, do not have anything to do with me, because I don't want to take you there. Okay, and this will be a reminder for everyone else out there who might have the same mindset about the things I believe, strongly and personally believe. Um, if there are things I say that you really have a problem with, um, either have the nuts to come to the platform and tell it to me, and make sure that your viewpoint can be backed up and you can hold your own, or shut up and move on. You are the dust on my feet, and I'm going to shake you off and move on to the next person. That's all I'm doing. I have no desire to go back and forth with people anymore about anything. I want nothing to do with you. Call it unchristian if you want, but he told his own people to do the exact same thing. Tell them, if they don't listen, move on. It's pretty simple. I'm not harping on a beating a dead horse. I'm not going to be standing around trying to scream at a window. That's not me. Okay. So I want people to be sure about something before I move forward with this lesson today. This is not for people to agree. I don't need people to agree with me. There are tons of things I can say, I can espouse, that will make people agree with me. And I could get a massive following by saying stuff that people agree with. I'm not here to have people agree with me. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. It's not changing what I know. And it's also not changing what I've experienced. And it's also not changing what's true. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. At the end of it, everyone will be answering for their own things anyway. But I for sure don't need people coming sideways to me and expecting me to be nice about it. That is not me. And I think if everybody follows both this channel, Too Strong, and the Savage Patriots, you'll understand that ain't me. I am not about to kowtow to anyone. That's never been me, and it will never be me. Don't get it twisted. I'm not that individual. I'm not people's buddy chum friend. That isn't me. Okay. I'm not here for that. I have a circle. That circle can grow and it can dwindle, but I am not here to placate. I'm simply not. I love people, but what I speak about is very, very, very specific, and it is from stuff that I have personally experienced. It is stuff that has been made real to me, and I don't need the approval of folks for it to be true. I really don't. While it's appreciated the support, and everybody knows that I appreciate the support, the support is not the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing because God asked me to do it, and I'm following through. It really is that simple. I just want to make sure people understand that. Rose, let me explain something to you. Seems that you want some attention before I move forward. You get it already. Carry on. This ain't your platform. I don't have to listen to you about the time frame I take to explain something. You might think this is a regular platform, or I'm like a run of the mill somebody else. That ain't here. I've told you time and time again, you come sideways, I will slap you across the fence. I ain't got no patience for folks like you. I don't need the support of folks like you. You can carry on too. You can easily take your little grubby fingers and click backwards and exit. It's easy for you to do. I will still be here. It really is that simple, Rose. Take your thorns and exit. Some of y'all are just looking for attention, like your husband don't give you none. Does your husband not give you the attention you need? You got to come to another man's platform to find it? Is that how you speak to your husband? Shut up, dear. Carry on. I need to be going. He must be the most miserable man on earth if he has to live with you. How about you carry on outside of the room? Bruh, some of y'all people, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by that thing, I'm not here to placate. I'm not here to kowtow. I'm saying what I said. I believe what I said, and I will not back down from what I say. There's going to be a few people that do not like it, that don't agree. And for those people, you can simply go find somebody that you agree with. Right or wrong, go find somebody you agree with. But truth is truth, regardless of whether you like it or not. The truth doesn't disappear simply because you close your eyes or you turn your back. That's not how truth operates. Truth doesn't go away simply because you want it to go away. Facts don't go away simply because you want it to go away. A man's a man, a woman's a woman. Man can't feel like a woman and a woman can't feel like a man. You see, that's how truth works. And I'm not here to compromise it. So I will give the people in the future that have a problem with the things I say and what I believe. Here are your options. Stay, listen, and see if you still disagree at the end, or vacate the area, or I can help you vacate the area. Those are your options, but I'm not going to stop simply because you disagree. I needed to get that out the way because it's been coming up more and more. And I understand why. I really do understand why. Because what I'm saying has gone so far off of what the church has been telling you for years, simply because I'm reading something in the book and believing what it said, not what I wanted to say. That's a very difficult thing for people to grasp. Like when he actually says to do something and to be something, he means it. It doesn't need your approval. It doesn't need your interpretation. It doesn't need a history lesson. It doesn't need to be applied to the culture, it doesn't need any of that. He simply says it and it's true. Nothing else. Nothing else. That is all I am doing. I am reading what it said and applying it as it is. He did not need us to interpret it the way we want. He does not need us to interpret it based on culture. He does not need it. He doesn't need to know whether the church is ready for it. None of that. He said what he said. He meant what he said, and he meant to say exactly what he said, how he said it. I don't know how else to tell people this. Stop going to people with seminaries and degrees and psychological degrees and all this nonsense that try to put all these man-made terminologies upon him and explain the Bible as though a man wrote it. Either God said what he said and he will protect his word, and it's his word that we have, or it is not. And if it is not, then go find what you want. But all I am doing is reading what it says and telling you what it says. It is not that difficult. It isn't difficult, which is why both Corey and I tell you this: following God ain't hard. It's not hard. We've made it hard. We have made following God hard because we want to put what everything changes on him. Now we are having debates about whether a man's a man or a woman's a woman when he clearly states what is and what isn't. Then we want to ascribe to God something about God that ain't even about him. That's the problem we run into when we don't take him at his word. That's the problem. And so for me, I want people to be, it's why, you know me, I will keep beating something into the ground. Do not, unless you have taken it and read it yourself, don't come to me in my inbox on my email or anywhere else espousing something that the word itself doesn't say, just because you feel it should say that, or your pastor said. His word is very clear. Like what we're about to read, it is super, super, super clear. Very clear. The mystery. The mystery. I finally found my version that I read online, so I'm going to be using this from here on out. I have found that this version seems to follow not just when it doesn't know the interpretation, it'll just put you in touch with the original and just let you be like that, so you can do your own research about it. And I like that. But it is also keeping it very close to the original text as possible, which I really appreciate too. It is called The Scriptures, in case you want to find it on Amazon. Ephesians 3:14-21. For this reason I bow my knees to the Father of our Messiah, of our Master, the Messiah, from whom all fatherhood in the heavens and earth is named, in order that he might give you, according to the riches of his esteem by power, to be strengthened in the inner man through his Spirit, that the Messiah might dwell in your hearts through belief, having become rooted and grounded in love, in order that you might be strengthened to firmly grasp with all the set apart ones, what is the width and length and depth and height, to know the love of the Messiah which surpasses knowledge, in order that you might be filled to all completeness in Elohim. And to him who is able to do exceedingly above what we ask or think, according to the power that is working in us, to him be esteemed in the assembly by Messiah unto all generations, forever and ever. Amen. So let's go through this piece by piece, shall we? 14. There is, and I keep saying this, there is a location for everything that has to do with the spirit realm. There's a location for everything that has to do with God in our life. There's a location. That power that he keeps mentioning throughout the book is not something that we possess. We take hold of it, but we don't possess it ourselves naturally. We are brought into it, and it is seen through us, but it is not us. It is not us. The more we realize that it is not us, the more we will look towards the person that it is from. Therein lies a lot of the problems I think people as a society we face, is that we keep saying that he'll give me the strength to, he'll give me the strength to, he'll me and me and me, as the last portion of the statement. But it is not. I keep harping to on terminology and how you say stuff. I can do all things through. But in saying that, do not keep your emphasis on yourself. You are merely a vessel. That's all you are, is a vessel. Consider it like this. If I am thirsty and I want water, having a glass in and of itself will do nothing for my thirst. If there is a location where water is, okay? If there's a location where water is, and I want that water, I can take that glass, scoop it into the water, and drink. The glass itself has zero ability to quench my thirst. I mean, zero. However, it can be a very good conduit if I need a lot or a little water. And depending on how much water, I can fill that vessel to my liking with the amount of water I need. It's called the scriptures, Nick. We are simply that glass. He can also direct the person who needs the water to simply bend over and drink directly from the lake easily. He may not even need a glass to help that person drink. He might just call them directly to come drink from the source without a glass, which is why we should not consider ourselves better than anyone else because you're a glass, or because you're a cup, or you're a mug, or you're a spoon, or a ladle. You are just a vessel to carry what the person needs whenever they need it, however they need it, which means you're no more important than a ladle. You're no more important than a mug, and you're no more important than a spoon. You're just an alternative. You can be as decorative as you want as well. You can be a really fancy glass. You can be a chalice, ornate, all that pretty stuff. You're still only holding water. And you're only as good as what you carry in you. Because you can also be carrying some really potent poison to kill somebody. You're just a vessel. That's all you are. In and of yourself. There's some people that would much rather drink out of this with some water instead of this for water. Some people just love seeing this, and they will really drink heartily out of something like this. But they won't drink out of this for some reason. But God knows the person, and he realizes that he can't get his water in with this. And so he sends this. And here you come saying, "Why are you drinking water out of that mug when you have a glass?" Because God knows that person. We are simply vessels. That is all. I need people to understand that first and foremost. I bow my knees before the Father of our Master, the Messiah, from whom all fatherhood in the heavens and earth is named, in order that he might give you according to the. Now, this is the biggest piece here. In order that he might give you, and this is how, according to the riches of his esteem by power, to be strengthened in the inner man through his spirit, that the Messiah might dwell in your hearts through belief, having become rooted and grounded in love. It's a mouthful, but it's not really a mouthful. Here's why it's not really a mouthful. He wants to give you strength in the inner man, because remember, the outer one is dead. But he does it through his spirit and according to his riches, not according to what you want, not what you have, what he has. Which is why everyone may have a completely different calling, a completely different gift set, a completely different calling. Because we're not the one that decided. Do you remember some time ago there was a test given to churches and people called the Enneagram? You remember, you ever heard of that test? Um, where you see where your strengths lie and where you're best suited to be used better. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Enneagram test. Um, I'm not here to debate the relevancy of that kind of test or even the history of it. Let's just break down something more basic about the test. Let's say a church is using the Enneagram test and it's a strength evaluator. Okay. So you answer a couple of questions on this test. And what it does, based on your answers, it tries to tell you whether or not you have a strength in a certain area or not another area, and blah, 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 blah. So what churches have done is they will take the test and they will create a platform to where once you've taken the test, they assign you a place where you can be best used. Okay. So it's like a personality test or a trait test, or um, like you would at work to see what area of the business you would be better suited because of your aptitude or even your personality type. The problem I see with that, it erases God's ability to make you do something that seems impossible for you. Because what you end up doing is you say, well, I have a strength, and this is where I'm going to persevere for God in. I'm going to be the best this for God. Moses was not a speaker. He wasn't a speaker, but God. David wasn't big enough to take out Goliath, but God. Saul persecuted the church. This is part of what I mean. We take man's ideal of what you take your whole vessel concept and you create yourself as a vessel and a liquid. He can't work when you step in your own pathway and say, I could do this. I'm going to. No. Mm-mm. And I've told this story before. This is not something I wanted to do. I didn't see myself as this particular type of person. Never. eh, I would have taken the test and I would have been the recluse. I'll send emails. That's what I'll do. God says, no, no. What we're going to do is He will create gifts through His Spirit. He will strengthen you in the inner man through His Spirit, according to His riches, not according to mine, His. Because remember, this is not about my glory, this is about His glory. If everything is supposed to revolve about showing Him and who He is, why am I looking for any sort of commendation from man? Why? Why am I trying to use my strengths for God? Shouldn't I be allowing myself to be used in any way, shape, form, or fashion He wants? That means even in a position where I may not think I can work, it might be completely outside of my comfort zone, but I'm not here for my comfort. I am not on this planet for my comfort. I am here for His. I am here for His. And when He calls you to do something, get up and do it. Your doubt has, listen to this, your doubt has zero impact on His power. Your doubt has zero impact on His power. We hear it all the time. When I am weak, He is made strong. Well, be weak. Why are you trying to use your strengths? If you believe that when I am weak, He is strong, why are you know how we always use that? Is when I fall into sin, He's strong enough to save me. That's how they always want to apply it. It's never when I step back and become weak, He can step forward and become strong in some area that I am fully weak in. It is never applied there. It is always when I'm weak, I can't go on anymore, Lord. I can't. Oh, oh, He's going to give you the strength to go on. That is not what it means. Moses was not an orator, but for some crazy reason, that's who He picked. Peter was brash. Paul was a persecutor. David was weak. Samson lost all his power. The amount of people throughout the Bible that were abject failures by human standards that God used to show His strength is astronomical. Why do you think He does that? To prove to you that He does not need your abilities. He don't need your abilities to do anything He has to get done at all. He might use it, He might not. In fact, He might give you a whole different set. He might give you a whole different set of skills. That the Messiah may dwell in your hearts through belief. You know, I don't know how else to tell this guy that I'm live every time. Corey, man, Corey. He's calling me on the phone. If he keeps forgetting I'm live every morning, it's too funny. I'm gonna rake him across the coast for that later. That the Messiah might dwell in your hearts through belief, having become rooted and grounded in love. Now remember, location again, location in love. Who is love? Love has a location in an entity, and it's God. It is embodied, it is lived out, it is who He is. So when it says directly, You have become rooted and grounded in love. It is not just this superficial love for your brother and love for the world, and it's in God. You have to be rooted and grounded in Him for anything else to matter. I think the church has had it backwards for such a long time. And this is what I mean by backwards. We believe that our venture here is to reach people for God and not God to reach people for Himself. Like we believe somehow we are the ones, in and of ourselves, we are the ones that step out. And because of who we are, we've gained people for God. You are usable for Him to reach the people He wants to reach, which is why some people will not listen to you, but they'll listen to Frank. They'll listen to James. They'll listen to Edgar. They will listen to Mary, Francine. They will listen to somebody who's been on the street, homeless, and made it off the street before they'll listen to a suit and tie. Self to His direction and what He wants, because He will show you who He wants you to go talk to. He will direct you to the people that will listen to what He has to say through you, not what you have to say, what He has to say through you. You are His vessel. I saw someone probably mention kids. Okay. You ever tell your child something and it's like they give you that look like, huh? You ever do that? Like you tell them something that you think is pretty stinking obvious, like it's cut and dry. You just tell them, and they're like, you know that look? And here comes your friend, an adult friend, grown up, your buddy, comes along and says the exact same thing to this knucklehead. And he's like, oh, yeah, I get what? I just said the same thing. I just said the same thing to you, bro. Yeah, but he said it. He didn't say it any different. You just took it from him because you wanted to take it. I couldn't even figure it out. Like, I just said this to you. How did you not get it? I don't know. And he just said it to you and you got it. Yeah. It makes me wonder about my children sometimes, but then I realize, hang on. If that happens on such a remedial level for me in my day-to-day life with my kids, how does God feel sometimes? How? Like some people will be used to reach people that no one thought they could be reached. It just it's His power, His timing, His way. But when you step into the gap and try to be God, it will never work out. There's so many little examples that He puts in front of us that we think are just like, oh, especially with family and kids. It's just crazy to me that we don't see the correlation when it's right there. In order that you may be strengthened to firmly grasp with all the set apart. I love how that's phrased, the set apart ones, because that's exactly what you do when you step into God. Is you're set apart. You're no longer a part of that world. You are set apart. And this is the part where people start to get into the, I'm going to get a blessing. I'm going to get a blessing. So you may understand the width, the length, and the depth and height to know the love of the Messiah, which surpasses knowledge. People say all understanding as though it's, I don't understand God's love. They don't understand God's love. No, it passes human understanding, and that's why you can't understand it. It's not necessarily for you to understand. What you need to understand is this, that he is God and he does not lie and he cannot fail. So just trust. Go with it. Why? Because he's God. I don't have to know what his end game is. I don't need to know what his next step is. I just need to walk. That kind of faith is crazy to have, and it's not very often that people have it simply because they need to know. You don't need to know. You simply don't need to know. Okay. Again, family example. You've seen the Simpsons and stuff with the family. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And trust me, we've all experienced this. It may not be the are we there yet, but it's a constant questioning about something that they don't know about. The kid doesn't know, but the adult knows where we're going. It could be a surprise, or it could just be, I can't leave you home alone. I have an errand to run and you're coming with me. But the kid somehow has to know, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? And all you turn around and say is, shush. Wherever I'm going, you're going. That's all you need to know. This isn't about you anyway. I have stuff to do. Be quiet. I don't need to explain myself to you. I'm the father. You're the child. Shush. We want to be that ignorant toddler or that belligerent teenager. And we refuse to be like the child that just lets the dad take them. They don't care where. They just know they're with dad and they're fine. They don't care where. They know they're with mom and they're fine. You see little babies where you just pick them up and mama's just walking around. They don't have to be going anywhere, but they're with mom, content. Which is why you also see some kids just want to be around dad. Some kids want to be around mom. But wherever that person that they prefer is, they are fine with. They don't even bat an eye. There's a certain level of trust involved in parenting from the kid to the parent. And we sometimes forget that that bond exists, even though he shows it to you day in, day out. That when he asks you to trust him, it means in everything, because you have to either know him or don't know him. And the reason we don't trust him is because we don't actually know him. We say we do, but we don't. It surpasses knowledge. In order that you might be filled to all completeness in Elohim. Is God complete? Yes. If you know him, the end result is completeness. First in the spirit, then when the new man is come, to be fully known, fully known. And if you have him, you do have completeness. You have perfection. Our problem is that we don't want to accept certain things about God. We simply don't want it. We want to be able to add our own 2 cents. We want our own 2 cents. Why? Why do you need to put your 2 cents in? Do you remember what your last time that your 2 cents did any good? You know what your 2 cents did last time? It damned man to death. That's what our 2 cents did last time. Our 2 cents damned mankind to eternal hell punishment. That's what our 2 cents did. And ever since, every time we put our 2 cents in, well, you see what happens. Every time. I don't want my 2 cents in anymore. I don't need my 2 cents. It doesn't really add a whole lot to the pile, and it's not my money anyway. And to him who is able to do exceedingly above what we ask or think, according to the power that is working within us, to him be esteem in the assembly by the Messiah unto all generations, forever and ever. What we've normally quoted that as saying, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. And in that case, we always take it to be our requests, what we want. And he'll always give me more than I ask for. That's how we've tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just the only one that has ever heard it stated that way. Whenever it's talked about beyond all we ask or imagine, it's always an application to what I get. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Like if I ask for a bill to pay and he gives me $500,000, wow, beyond what I asked or imagined. How about this? In the entire verses prior, none of it mentioned anything of us getting something. Let's be in context here. None of the statements before entitled us to get anything. Because we all miss one very vital statement at the very end. According to his power that is at work within us. According to the power that's at work. What we allow, the ground we allow him to take, we will see more of him, more of his power, more of him at work. This has zero to do with what we get physically, tangibly. It is not a matter of stuff. It is a matter of him. It is not what we get in life. He will look after that. He looks after the birds of the field, the flowers of the field, the birds of the air. He'll clothe all of them. He'll take care of you. That's a natural result of who he is. That's just who he is. Rain on the just and the unjust, it's natural. That's just part of living. The other part that he's calling us to, that's more important, is getting the full measure of him in our life. A full measure of him, above that, more than we can even imagine or ask. This is not about stuff. This is about getting more of him, to become more aware of the fullness of who he is. That's what it says. It has zero to do with you getting anything out of this in this world. The riches he's talking about always leads back to him. His riches. Become grounded in love, in him. The love of the Messiah that passes knowledge, him. All of this, the entire passage is dealing with us knowing him. Period. Hands down, unequivocally. The rest, gravy. The rest of it, all of it is just a symptom. They're all symptoms. What he really, really craves to have is you, your time, your attention, your availability, you as a vessel for him to fill when he needs it filled, and to hand it to those he needs to hand it to. Hand himself off. He's not looking for you to be pretty. He's not looking for you to be a mug or a cup specifically. He's asking you as you are, the way you look, as you are in this human form, to be filled with him and so enamored with him that he can then use you for his benefit. His benefit. There are tons of preachers and priests that have fanfare and dress up all the time and look immaculate, and they have to have the fancy suit and they look really good because they believe that somehow the more they look good, it's a sign of a blessing from God. People will think, I am truly blessed because look at what he gave me. And you can have this too for only $19.99. And they will sell you everything. Meanwhile, there's a bum on the street that's looking at you and thinking, if that's what it means to serve God, I definitely can't serve him because I will never get there. I don't have any money. But then here comes old Joe, not Biden, regular, blue collar, busted work boots, dirty soiled pants, work jacket, high vis vest, hard hat, smelling like grease. And all he does all day is praise and thank God. And he walks up to this homeless person and does exactly what God wants him to do. And that bum sees him and thinks, but he's not even rich. And he's like, there's something different. It is not in our presentation that we get people to listen to God. It is in our allowing him to do what he has to do through us that will get God into people. It is not even a matter of me loving people. It is a matter of me loving God and God loving people through me. There's a big difference, a world of difference. I may not, in and of myself, have the power to love people. I can tell you right now, if it were dependent on my flesh, my just me, yeah, nah, just because I don't like personality types. I can tell you that in and of. I still know what my flesh is capable of. Just because I'm not living there doesn't mean I don't know what it's capable of. I fully know what it's capable of. I used to know me. I used to be it for 30 plus years. Trust me, I know. But God doesn't have that limitation. He doesn't have that limitation. But he also know how someone else views me based on who I was. And sometimes those are the people that he will bring back to me to show not only them, but to show me that through him, any bridge can be patched. At the same time, he will also separate me from people because I will not be the one to get through to them. I won't know that if I'm not constantly in it. I won't know. Like the lady I mentioned before the show started, he will not allow me to keep around people like that. I will not be the one to reach that soul. As the vessel I am, I will not be the one to be able to bring water to that person. I just won't be able to. They don't want this. They want this. And right now, I am this. And no matter what this carries in it, they won't want it. So one day, God will bring this filled with him to them. And before too long, they will come back to me and says, I got what you got. Which is why I leave it up to him. I'm not trying to wine and dine people to believe me. That is not my intention and will never be my intention. Either you get God or you don't. I am not in the business of trying to explain God through my own means. When he wants you to get it, he'll bring somebody to help you get it, or he'll contact you directly and take you straight to the water and have you drink from it. He'll have you bend right over to your knees, no glass, no mug, just sip straight. He does that too. Which is why I'm not for everybody. My delivery system is not for everybody. But what I do want you to do is get to the water. If it's not through me, that's why I tell you to go back to the author every time, because the author is the same in every one of us. It's the same water, maybe a different vessel, but the exact same water. This idiot Scott guy has always come in here trolling, and I'm blocking him right now. Do not respond to him, guys. It's the same water, different vessel. And he'll either call you to come fall on your knees and drink straight from the source, or you'll have somebody introduce you to the water. Now you can now go to the water and have your vessel filled all the time. But this walk is not about what you get out of it. It's not about the funds you get. It's not about the blessings and all. He is the blessing. He is the mystery. He is it. That's why we have to appreciate it. The money, the coverage, the influence, none of that is what he's called us for. He's called you to have a personal relationship. And from that personal relationship, he will bring to you who he wants to meet. The Lord of all wants relationship, period. But he doesn't want relationship because of you. He is wanting relationship for you to know him. He already knows you. Isn't that crazy that he already knows everything about you? The relationship isn't for him to know you. The relationship is for you to know him. He is seeking you out for you to know him because he already knows you 100% in, out, up, down, through and through. He knows you. Now he wants you to know him. Now, whether or not you do it, whole nother ball of wax. A whole nother ball of wax. If you don't want it, don't pursue it. If you don't want it, don't pursue it. But he still left that door open. And he's not going to just reject you because there's a time coming for that. We're not there yet. At the end of it, when time is out, the rejection permanently will happen. For now, the door is open. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Remember that? While he may be found, because there will come a point where he will not be able to be found by you. Seek him now. tomorrow, this whole Ephesians thing is a crazy, crazy cool um, book. I'll tell you that much. It's a great book. But tomorrow we'll be talking about spiritual gifts, but not so much in the vein of um, what yours is or isn't. It's a little bit different, okay? Um, the context here will be a little bit more along the lines of what um, you allow, what you allow, okay? Um, if you're interested in that concept at all, it's going to be an interesting topic. I'm not going to lie. Um, there is a I'm trying to find the best way to give it without giving it away. The gift has a location. Again, I think that's the best way I can say it. The gift has a location. And it's not so much um, you having this ability to do something supernaturally through God. Okay, that is not what we'll be talking about. So don't come with the concept of I'm going to be telling people what to look for as your spiritual gift. that's that's not what's going to be happening. I just want to make sure you all understand that. Okay, this is not about your gifting. Take that off the table. If you want to verify what I'm talking about, go read Ephesians 4. Okay? Read Ephesians 4. Then you'll have a kind of a concept of where I'll be going with it. Thursday, we'll be talking about the whole armor of God. And then, no, and then Friday, sorry. Friday we'll be covering two topics in one. Because, like I said, there was a error in the arrangement of shows where it has me coming on Saturday. I will not be coming on Saturday. On Friday, I will be talking about the armor and walking in wisdom. I will combine those two. Saturday's show will not occur. You will see it disappear from the lineup, but I will be tackling the topic of Friday on topic of Friday and Saturday on Friday. Um, the whole armor and walking in wisdom will be one topic. So I will make sure I get that adjusted today so that you don't keep seeing that notification for Saturday and get confused. Okay. Um, we have a robust show lineup today. I am going to be busy. We have the Savage Patriots at 4:30 Eastern. I'm going to grab the link real quick for that and drop it in the description. The Savage Patriots is more of a political platform. If you're going to be coming there with the concept of it being like straight talk, you will be sorely, and I mean sorely disappointed. It is not the same platform. I am working with two individuals as well as myself. But do not think for a minute that it's going to be the same thing. It is not. Um, one's a believer, the other one is not. Okay, he believes in God, that there is a God, but there's not the same walking out as my life. I don't know where God is taking that relationship. I don't know exactly where that's going to go. I just know that I'm working with where I'm at, and I have a relationship with the guys, but this is not straight talk. There's the link. There's the link for the Savage Patriots. I would appreciate it if you guys can at least give us a sub. If not for watching it to get our numbers going for people who do want to see it, please do that. Um, at least go sub to the channel, if nothing else. You don't have to watch. I'm not saying that you need to. But please give us a subscription. That helps get the platform moving. It'd be appreciated. Savage Patriots on YouTube. It's a trifecta. People will be having a guest on today. Another friend of mine, his name is Lumberjack, but I can't give you his real name. But he'll be on, another well-spoken individual. And we will be talking today about the partially issues that tackle Black America. And understand it's not about color. This is, like, again, it's not straight talk, but it is something that's happening in the political sphere where color is the topic. Okay. And what that means for people who are like myself, who don't subscribe to this being the reason I get places or don't get places. So we're tackling the dichotomy that's there. So please join that conversation if you have something to say about it. It would be greatly appreciated. Again, here's the link one more time in case you missed it. And tonight on Too Strong, it's going to be a it's rough. It's a rough topic. Because the footage that we found of this individual and what they're saying is going to be very hard to see and hear. I'm giving you ample warning now that what this individual says is so evil. I can almost guarantee without me seeing it that there will be something that will make you throw up. It is that bad, but it needs to be seen and shown for what the person and who he is, for what he does, and all it needs to be known. So I'm just asking you to, when you come tonight at Too Strong, be prepared for what you're going to hear, because it is not like anything else you've heard before someone say. I mean, I know people have heard some crazy stuff, but this one takes the cake, completely takes the cake. I don't know how else to state it. The person we're talking about tonight, his name is Nature Boy. He's a rapper. So just like I said, just prepare yourself. Love you guys. Mean it. Really do. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. My inbox is open. Straight Talk MB at outlook.com if you have questions or concerns. But if you come sideways, I'll just block you from here on out. I got no time for shenanigans or snide remarks. If you have a viewpoint that's a disagreement with mine, lay it out carefully as to why you disagree, and we can have a discussion. I don't know. She was on a ban. I have not seen anything from her lately. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. Y'all have a grand rest of the day. Again, the options that I was asked to place is on the bottom of the screen. Do with it as you will, or don't do it as you will. That's on God. I appreciate all your support being in the chat, and I appreciate the prayers. But more importantly, I would really appreciate it if you guys took everything I said back to the author. Take it back to him. I got no problem with you going talking to God. You should have no problem going to talk to God about anything you hear here. Go talk to him. And we will catch up later today on the Savage Patriots. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. Please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight, the dreams for if dreams die. Rely on yourself when no